Hi again, and hello to Barbara, who's joined me today. I'm delighted to be telling you a little bit more about the symposium for PCE Europe in November this year. And PCT Scotland, one of four partners, will be hosting the symposium. And today we wanted to talk a little bit about the encounter groups that will be running at the symposium. But just as a reminder, our other partners are ABCA, University of Strathclyde, and PCE Europe. You'll find a lot of information about these groups on the website. Barbara.
Okay, Terry, thanks. As Terry indicated, PCT Scotland will be holding the encounter rooms, which will be open both online and in person on the Friday and the Saturday of the symposium. Two experienced volunteers from the organisation will be facilitating each group, and each group will be about 1.5 hours long. This fits with PCT Scotland's long history of commitment to encounter and PCE Europe's commitment to encounter, in fact. So Terry, having said that, you've been in PCT Scotland for quite a long time. I wonder if you can tell us more about your experiences of PCT Scotland's history with encounter.
Thanks, Barbara. I was looking at my journals and I was surprised to find out I've been a member since 1994. One thing for certain is the experience has been amazing because of encounter groups and PCT Scotland probably every year since 94 has had at least one encounter group. But there are some notable ones. I know, Barbara, you were at the 99 forum.
Certainly was.
And we were hoping to get between 40 or 50 people. And I can remember the organising committee freaking out when we got to over 300 people coming. And by the event, there were between 300 or 400 people. And it was an amazing experience. Most of it was encountering. And we were lucky enough to have people like Peggy Nattiello, Maureen O'Hara, Elsie Zala, Charlie O'Leary. The names were endless, but the energy was incredible. That was in 1999. We haven't got time to do the events of every year, but another notable one for me that stands out was in 2003, where Carl Rogers' daughter, Natalie Rogers, joined us for um, a presentation celebrating her father, a workshop on expressive arts, and we also had an encounter group as well. It was a really powerful experience. Something that I wanted to talk about, a little bit odd, this image is humorous, but it's really important to talk a little bit about people's attitudes to large groups and encounter groups. And increasingly, people dread the idea of a large group, because I think it's got complicated because of students' experiences on training courses. Um, and they often talk about feeling like they're under a microscope and having to perform. And I think there are a lot of stereotypes around encountering. And what I wanted to say is that PCT Scotland has always strived to offer the six therapeutic conditions, and that encountering is definitely um, encounter and counter. There's often conflict in groups, but we always strive to offer the six therapeutic conditions. So we're hoping that people are made to feel welcome and heard in the encounter groups. The last thing I wanted to say, Barbara, was to mention some of the people who are involved in PCT Scotland and encountering. And this is a picture of a dear friend called Mary Kilbourne, who sadly died in 2000, so 25 years ago. But Mary was a founding member of PCT Scotland, um, passionate about encountering. and she was part of the International Forum of Encounter, as well as PCT Scotland. And some other names that people might recognise would be Dave Mearns, Elka Lambers, Brian Thorne, Charlie O'Leary, Alan Turner, Kathy Ritchie, Carolyn Dougal. These are all people who committed to providing a person-centered encounter experience over the years. Many, many more names, impossible to mention everybody. But what we hope we are going to be doing at this symposium is recreating that feeling of welcome. Back to you, Barbara.
Thanks, Terry, and thanks for those memories. I remember the 1999 conference, particularly because I'd not long qualified, and I found it astonishing. It was so large, such a big group, and so much happened. And also being reminded of Mary and all the things that she brought to the person-centered approach and the person-centered approach in Scotland. Um, and some of the names here that I recognise as well. So thank you for that walk down history lane. We're really excited to have the honour of continuing the tradition that Terry's been describing, and to offer the encounter rooms. And we really look forward to seeing you in Glasgow in November. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Barbara. Bye-bye.
Bye.